OWAIS, are you there, please?
Yes,
If
sir.
there, please respond. Yeah, OWAIS Ahmed.
Yes, sir.
OWAIS, welcome. I'm not. Have you not switched on your video camera? OWAIS?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm starting it. I'm starting it. Sorry.
Okay. Just switch on your video camera.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes. Welcome. OWAIS, we are very much you're audible and visible both. Welcome, OWAIS, to this important mock interview.
Thank you, sir.
The August panel, and will be to your mock you are appearing for the IES exam, that the topmost, the highest engineering service in the country and the technical service in the country.
Yes, sir.
Now, before we start our OWAIS formally, please introduce yourself with the same very short introduction, which basically says who is OWAIS Ahmed.
Yes, sir. Sir, my name is OWAIS Ahmad Beig. I am a passer from NIT Suratkal. My hometown is Anantnag for this Indian Engineering Service for the last 1.5 years. This was my second attempt in the engineering service. The last year I was not selected. I passed the prelims only, and I am not doing any job currently, so I am fully focused on this exam.
Okay, OWAIS, thank you very much for the introduction.
Yes,
now, you are from Anantnag, and
yes, sir.
Anantnag is on the in the valley.
Yes, sir.
Jammu Kashmir called a valley. It's a proper valley, and now but you have also studied in Suratkal, which is in Karnataka. So you are also familiar with Karnataka. So you are also familiar with South India. Now, tell me, suppose you are in charge of, suppose you get into the IES and you are in charge of the division in Karnataka, not Jammu Kashmir. Although you have Jammu Kashmir, you are made in charge of a place, Suratkal, place. I mean, I will not say Suratkal, maybe a place in Karnataka, which is a little hilly, because Karnataka also has hills, low-lying hills, the hilly terrain, and you are, and there's several parts of Bellary and those districts are severely water-starved. So now tell us, you are in charge of that area, and which is a perennially water-starved, hilly terrain, rocky, the subsoil is quite rocky. So you are in charge. You are in charge of the PHE, the Public Health Engineering Department. And now tell us about how will you plan for this seasonal shortage of water supply and water shortages, and you have to make a complete plan for the state government for this tackling this seasonal water shortage. It may not be a perennial, it is a seasonal water shortage, and the people are fed up. They want some solution, and you are an IES officer. You are the people are looking up. How will you plan? How will you advise the government of Karnataka?
Sir, as we know, Karnataka receives rainfall. In some areas, the rainfall is as high as more than 1,000 mm per year. That is very high amount of rainfall. So what we have to employ is that we can use the technique of water harvesting. That means, and if there is some river passing through the area, we can create impoundments for shorter time, so that we store the water and we can supply it with the help of canals to the areas which are drought, which we don't receive the adequate amount of water, rainfall. This due to the seasonal variation, due to the regional variation, some amounts such as the Mangalore receive very high amount of rainfall, which is almost 1,400 mm, and some other areas may not receive that much of rainfall. So what we do is that we store the water through water harvesting techniques, various water harvesting techniques. Also, we may create some low head dams, which may be possible, and then we may supply the water to the areas where it is required, and this is how we mitigate the water crisis in those areas. Also, we may, if there are rivers present over there, actually the sea is quite close to the whole coastline. Karnataka shares a huge coastline. There almost 500, more than 500 kilometers are in proximity with the Arabian Sea. So we can also use sea water, but that's a costly technique because uh, we have to convert it. We have to exclude the salts from it, and the processes involving like this distillation, and all processes, they are very costly. So it is better to do rain harvesting instead of treating the sea water and then supplying to the areas that are short on water.
OWAIS, apart from the rainwater harvesting, is true. But as you were saying, that area is the area, say Bellary and maybe mining area. Then there are certain rocky areas just outside Bangalore. You go towards that the Belur, Halabid, those areas. They are all rocky subsoil. They are quite porous. So rain,
Yes, sir.
there could be rain, but it doesn't stay in the subsoil. It just percolates down. So now in a situation like that, one option can be you store water in somewhere else and then supply through pipeline, which is very costly, and then it requires land acquisition, requires so many and maybe some gradient gravity kind of a solution, but it will take some time. It is a regional water supply scheme. The PHB takes up, but it takes time. So, but short of that, yeah, that also is obviously a solution. But in situ, you are to have to do where suppose the government says no, okay, Mr. OWAIS Ahmad, you please have some solution for the in situ rainwater harvesting, in situ conservation, as you say very correctly. Then how you do an in situ kind of a water conservation in that area, maybe mining area, rocky subsoil. There are techniques available.
Sir, you're talking about the in situ conservation of water in
Yes,
those
yes.
areas?
In situ reservoir, you just save water, conserve water, in situ kind of thing. In situ solution. Yes. Ex
Sir,
situ, yes, supply to pipeline. In situ.
sir, we can use like water. We can build water tanks.
But I said it's a very rocky subsoil. So the worker percolates down. It doesn't stay. The strata is so rocky and porous. It just goes percolates down.
Like we see, for example, in some parts of India, there are. Sir, I'm talking about the small.
There's some problem in your communication, always. Is it? I suppose. ये विवो जी इनका ऑडियो अवेलेबल yes here available is audio is not yes there's some audio
it is getting stuck. Let's
see,
wait
there
for
may
one
not
of
necessarily.
OWAIS, your voice got stuck actually. There's some internet issue. Can you check?
Okay, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, I can check it. Yes.
0107 1947 3160 sector A pocket BC or something. New Delhi 17.
Sir, can you hear me now?
yeah now it's clear yeah now it's much better.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, you are going
Sir,
you're the in situ conservation of water in that area.
Sir, I guess we can use like in some parts of the northern plains, people construct small water tanks. They are not necessarily built on the ground, but they construct it on the roofs and all. So during the periods of high rainfall, they store it and then they can use the water in the times when there is no rainfall. So this can
That
also
is
be, I think, a
no,
possible
why
solution.
sir I'm not I understand it is there in Jhuru Rajasthan. They do it the rainwater harvest, rooftop rainwater harvesting, they call it, individual house.
Yes, sir.
That is also one of the solutions, yes. But I'm talking about bigger scale, communities. Maybe maybe 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 kind of a water conservation.
Yes, very much.
That kind of a solution
Yes, sir.
Can you suggest some solution? Have you heard about the grouting technique? Grouting technique for the porous sandy soil, porous soil where the water doesn't stay,
Yes, sir.
the conserved water doesn't stay.
Yes,
So
sir. Yes, sir.
there is a technique. I mean, because you are a civil engineer, very
Hard copy I
intelligent.
got it. Email hard copy
So
both.
there is a technique for water conservation, which I had done. I was a regional head of water conservation. So we had there's a technique called mulch. They line these. It's a little costly, but it is very effective. The water doesn't percolate out. It spread mulch and then of course grouting followed by use of mulch, some kind of material. Uh, IPCL those days, I don't know. Nowadays must have improved it. So that's a kind of a thing. Lining in this surface water tanks, etc., storage tanks, but the water, obviously, water will not percolate. There will be evaporation loss, I agree. But anyway. Okay, so just read up on that because there are areas in India where this technique is still being used. I understand. I given to understand that. Now,
Yes, sir. Okay.
one more question which of course you can expect anywhere. Now, Anantnag is known as, it's a general question, not something to do with civil engineering. Now, Anantnag is known as an area which is quite disturbed. There are so many developmental programs the government wants to undertake, but anyway, you know why it is not being, it's very difficult to kind of go inside and then have a small beneficiary based individual like that. It's quite difficult from various angles. The lack of communication with the local people, the lack of communication with between the armed forces and the security forces and the people, and also and that results into feeling of insecurity all around, and that impacts the developmental paradigm.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
suppose you are in charge of, suppose you think yourself you are in charge engineering, chief engineering, the entire valley, chief engineer, and you are being given a task. Yes, Mr. OWAIS Ahmad, your job is to the infrastructure development, the water conservation, the structure, the roads, buildings. So you are not in charge of it. What everything. Civil engineer, engineering chief, that area chief engineer is a huge responsibility. Now, what are the steps you will take to ensure? Now, your job is not to fight the militants, but your job is to ensure that those developmental paradigms they reach the last mile. But how do you do that? Because you have to do it through the infrastructure development, roads, buildings, bridges, culverts, water supply scheme. So how will you ensure? What are the most important steps you will take to ensure that your area is it's conducive to those measures which your engineering team will can go in and uh, and and and, and give it to. Ultimately, it is the people will either benefit or suffer if developmental this infrastructure is not developed. So, what are the steps, main important steps you take as an chief engineer in charge of the public health engineering in that Anantnag, your area, the entire Anantnag, the Shopia, the entire belt. He has again got stuck. Yes, I think Wise has again got stuck, I suppose.
I think he has a major bandwidth issue, it seems.
Yes. Yeah, I suppose his limit is reached, so he is. Wise, can you hear us? Can you hear me? Wise, Ahmed, can you hear? Can you hear me? Wise Ahmed. Vivoji, what to do? Vivo, you are muted. Vivo and Yash both, you are both muted. Yeah. Vivo, what to do?
Sir, I think I will call her because they must be thinking the interview is on. So maybe for a
Yeah,
little
you have to
time,
really call them on the mobile.
I will call. I will call. I'm calling.
They are.
Sir, OWAIS is back.
Yeah.
Yes,
OWAIS,
sir. Yes, sir.
yeah. I think there is a problem with your bandwidth or something. OWAIS, your internet connection is going and
Sir,
coming, I suppose.
Sir,
Yeah,
it was
okay.
unstable. Now I connected it to my
Achha,
mobile phone
connected.
only.
Very nice. Very
Yes,
nice.
sir.
So again, we will not waste more time. Now, this you have understood the question, no? The
Yes, sir.
steps, short steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, A, B, C, D. Like.
Sir, the first and foremost step, I think, should be to connect to the people and tell them and communicate to them in the most effective manner that how these schemes are going to be useful and how these schemes are essentially meant for the upliftment of the local people. This is the first and foremost step. The time they understand that, they will not cause any impediment to the implementation of any such scheme, any such developmental project, any construction of road or any other thing. The second thing is that uh, involve the local people in it. The local people should be made participatories. The local engineers should be involved so that there is more local and there is more on the ground participation of the people, so that they know though they come to know about the know-how of such projects, and also they come about to know about about the benefits of such projects. So these things will ensure that
No, but
people.
my question counter will be, yes, you involve the local people, but you have got a tendering system. This is a big project. So it's a tendering system. It is an all India tendering process.
Yes, sir.
Whoever is the local, the L1, as you say, the lowest tender and the best technological, mostly those contractors will not be from that area. It will maybe from Delhi, Calcutta, Bombay, or big places, may not be from Kashmir. So there'll be outside contractors, and they probably will bring their engineers and unskilled laborers will be from inside, but maybe skilled laborers, carpenters,
Yes, sir.
masons, etc. Maybe they bring from outside. Will not that create a resentment in the local people? They'll say, yeah, they are again outside contractors coming. They are, taking out money and going away. So will that not cause any resentment in the local? So it will be may not maybe against what you want to do. Maybe they go against what your intentions are. How do you solve that?
Sir, we can communicate better in a better way. The thing is that the technical know-how, if it lies with the company itself, that means that we cannot guarantee the participation of the local people. Then, in at least the top jobs, we can't guarantee them. But we have to communicate that in a better way to them. After all, the project may be built by someone else, but after all, in the long run, it will help the local people only. Sir, we have to communicate with them in a better way. We have to. We cannot do it in the direct way, or we cannot tell them that you cannot be involved. But the thing is that this project in the long run, these are civil engineering projects. Civil engineering projects have a they have a design life of many years, mostly more than 30 years, more than 20 years. So in the long run, it will benefit the local people only. It will not just benefit them in the view of infrastructure development, but also it will empower the business communities. Just for example, if we build a road, if we build a highway, then the land around the highway can be used for business development. So in the long run, it's going to affect it is going to help the local people only, and it will also save the cost of transportation. For example, if we build a road, it will also save the cost of transportation. So in the after all, it will help the local people only. So we have to communicate them in a better way, and we have to tell them about the long term prospects which they will get with the help of this civil engineering project.
Okay, very nice reply. I really appreciate that. Now, Dr. Bhattacharya, will you please take over?
Yes, sir.
Good morning,
Mr.
sir.
Rosis.
Yes, sir.
Good morning. So, some civil engineering core question. Quick.
Yes, sir.
What is ductility and why it is so important?
So ductility is the ability of the metals to undergo strain and not lose strength. Sir, the thing is that it is important is because
undergo deformation without rupture.
without rupture. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, it is important because in the case of metals and all, we see that if they are loaded below beyond a proportional limit, now if that rupture happens, that means materials are not being utilized to their full strength. They are not being utilized beyond a particular point. But if the material is ductile, that means that it will retain itself. It will retain the structure will be retained to up to a reasonable limit, up to the plastic limit, and thus it helps it helps in the development of structures. For example, if you are building.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Next question. Why concrete cover to reinforcement is required? 1, 2.
Sir, the main reason why concrete cover to reinforcement is given because of the intrusion of the environmental factors. The environmental factors may affect, because of the corrosion, may affect the steel reinforcement. So a cover is necessary.
Yes, okay. Then any other thing?
Sir, concrete, sir, because of the environmental conditions and also the reactions of the concrete. Also, we have to develop it should not be the bond should be properly there out all around the reinforcement bar. Bond should be developed all around the reinforcement bar.
Concrete over reinforcement.
Yes, sir.
And in addition, one more thing is there. It is a concrete cover will give the fire protection.
Yes, sir. Okay. Thanks. Yes, sir.
Okay. Then, can you tell me something about what is the characteristic strength of material? Characteristic strength.
Sir, yes, sir. Characteristic strength is a strength. For example, if we are testing samples, then the strength below which not more than 5%. 5% of the materials of the specimens should have the strength.
Okay.
Not more than 5%.
What is the primary function of stirrups?
Sir, the primary function of the stirrup is for the development of the shear strength, so is to provide shear strength to the material, to the concrete material.
Second.
RCC. Sir, and it is to hold the main stirrups in place in the longitudinal reinforcements. Not the longitudinal. It's to hold the main reinforcement in place.
Good.
Yes, sir.
Third one.
Sir, third one I have no idea about it. Sir, I could only mention.
Resist in growth of inclined cracks and improve aggregate interlocking.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Now, what is cavity wall? What is the advantage of providing? Where it is provided?
Cavity wall is provided is a wall in which there are two walls. They are separated by a gap between them. This basically it is done. For example, if in order to provide insulation, in order to provide fire resistance, we provide a cavity wall.
Good. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Last question.
Yes, sir.
Rehabilitation of structure and retrofitting of structures. What is the difference?
So retrofit means that in the structure, if we found some problems, then how to renovate the structure again, how to improve, add the structural dimensions to it so that it can be retained for a greater amount of time. That's what we call the retrofit. It may involve adding a whole new dimension to the structure. For example, we may add some cover all around it. We may add some.
Process should go. Process is different. What is rehabilitation?
Rehabilitation involves addition of less permanent features to the structures. Rehabilitation may involve some minor features as well. For example, if we have to rehabilitate a particular building, not much structural reforms is done. So retrofit means that we are involving more structural reforms and more base. We involve more manpower there, sir.
Okay. But your answer could have been better way. Your concept is not exactly correct. Actually, rehabilitation means we want to rehabilitate the structures in its original strength itself. Building has gone bad because of old age. Building is suffered due to earthquake. And why we try to rehabilitate the original strength. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Retrofitting means we want to give extra strength.
Yes, sir.
Why? Structure might have been constructed long back when code was different. Now codal provision is stringent. So I want to upgrade as per codal provision. Secondly, I have got 8-story building. I want to make 10-story. So I have to put extra strength. So there is the major 2 reasons. Okay, you have answered reasonably very well. Over to ma'am.
Good morning, OWAIS Ahmad.
Good morning, ma'am. Ma'am, I'm fine. Thanks, ma'am.
Yeah. So OWAIS, I would start asking one with a small question.
Yes,
what is the best memory at Suratkal?
Ma'am, it's of the beach. Ma'am, Suratkal
Okay.
has a private beach, and I think it's the only college in India having that facility. So obviously, the best memory of Suratkal is always the beach.
Okay. Okay. And do you have any role model in your life?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, my parents are my role models, and besides that, there are a few persons who are my role models. But basically, I look forward to my parents only, and see their hard work, see their dedication towards life. And also, my grandfather, he passed away. He's my role model as well, because he had a desire for learning even at the age of 90s. He used to learn mathematics. Basically, he was not a student of, or he was not involved in mathematics, but he was an art student in his early days. But he used to learn mathematics from me only in the age of 90s. So I think that's the best role model I could have.
Wonderful. So for learning, that's a good thing. So do you really want to become like your father or mother being in the education sector, or then why are you looking at the IES if they are your role models? And why should you look beyond than teaching, education, learning, or the process of getting into the more dissemination of knowledge? So why would you like to be in IES?
Ma'am, I think having a role model does not mean that you go into the same profession as them. You can, I can look into their dedication. I can look at their pattern of work, and basically I can take the same things and then inculcate them in my area of interest. That's what I think for me a role model looks like. So you you look at the way of their dedication and all, and that inculcate in your life. And basically your interests may be different. It's not necessary that your field of work may be same, but the basic theme of hard work, dedication, and sincerity remains the same in all the fields.
Okay, wonderful. So let me also ask one more question to you.
Yes,
that I have an old building
yes,
of an educational institution. I come from Rajasthan.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So in Rajasthan, the chhatris, or the what they call is the facade which is there outside, has got the umbrella like structures, and they have very beautiful jalis, or what you call is the intricate work of stonework is there. Okay.
Yes,
now, because it has got its own weight, the building is now in a condition where the major cracks have developed, and anytime anything can fall. So we do not want to, play with its beauty, but we want to strengthen it, and we want to make it a little more safe for the people, those who may go visit or may, study, because it's a college building. So how can we do that? What is your solution as a civil engineer? How and what do you think about it?
Ma'am, in case the building is a concrete building, we can use grouting in it. We can use the cement and the concrete having also we can having the high workability which can be applied at a pressure.
So let me give you a perspective,
Yes,
let me give you a perspective that this building is 72-year-old.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, is the building made of concrete, or it's made of different material?
What it would have been made of at that time?
Ma'am, in some areas of the world, concrete was used at that time, but I'm not sure about Rajasthan.
It is not. For
building.
Such buildings, it is not.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, it depends.
Stone and lime, majorly stone and lime. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am,
for stones and lime, basically these are compression. The load will be transmitted through compression structures, because in earlier times this was the mode of load transmission in older buildings. Now, how to improve the structure is that actually we can improve it. I think the most cost-effective method was the concrete only, and I don't think there should be any problem with using concrete on stones and all.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So I take that as your answer, though I am not very fully satisfied with that. One last thing, I'll show you one thing and tell me the various uses that you can do with it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, don't tell me that it is to be used for the conventional method. I want you to think very beyond its original use. Okay. So can you see this?
Yes, ma'am. This is a water bottle.
Yeah, it's a water bottle.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, how can we use it? Basically, this is what I am meant to say. Ma'am, for drinking water first.
No, I said don't look at the core. Go beyond it. That was my first submission.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
We can use it. We can create small pores or holes through a needle in the water bottle, and we can use it as a sprinkler if we have a garden in the front yard, and we can water the plants by it. The second use may be that it can be you can be used as a shower. It can be used as a shower as well. For example, if the in the bathroom the the sprinkler is not working, and we can adjust it. Although it's not an effective method.
स्प्रिंकलर से भी आगे नहीं बढ़ रहे हो, पहला भी स्प्रिंकलर था, दूसरा भी स्प्रिंकलर है, तो कुछ और भी सोचो ना.
Yes, ma'am. It can also be used for putting some plants into it, which can be used for enhancing the beauty of your area.
फटाफट बोलो.
This is all I can think at short.
अरे किसी को भी मार सकते हैं, इसको म्यूजिकल इंस्ट्रूमेंट की तरह यूज कर सकते हैं, इसके लिए बहुत सारी चीजें हो सकती है. आप इसको मतलब थोड़ा सा और सोचा होता तो आर्ट ऑब्जेक्ट बना सकते हैं. You can use it for measurements. You can fill sand in it, and you can use it as a dumbbell. Why don't you think in multiple ways? Okay, so this is very important that the presence of mind, the quick thinking, how creative you can be while you are applying your mind. Yeah, so this is very important ways. Thank you so much, and I hand it over now to Jaspal ji.
Thank you, ma'am.
Jaspal ji, are you there? Jaspal ji.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good morning, sir. Good morning,
how
sir.
Are you?
Sir, I'm good.
Good morning. OWAIS, I heard you were saying to Bhattacharya ji sir regarding water conservation, rainwater harvesting. I'll continue with that only.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me something about index of wetness?
Yes, sir. Sir, index of wetness is related to the amount of rainfall. For example, if there is the average rainfall that the region has received and the present rainfall in that particular year that the area will receive. Sir, it's the proportion of the current rainfall in that particular year and to the average amount of rainfall that the area receives. Sir, this index of wetness can be then correlated with that. If it is beyond a certain proportion, then the drought conditions can be said to be prevailing in that particular area. Okay. So, for example, yes, sir.
Okay. Can you tell me how can a river valley can be selected for a dam construction?
Yes, sir. Sir, the reservoir area should be wide so as to store. It should be having a high area so that we can store large amount of water in it. The considerable depth should be available, and the point at the where a dam is to be created, it should be more preferably a narrow valley, so that we have to construct it across a narrow valley. This will be concrete. Dam will be more suited across such an area. So, and basically the foundation should be strong enough to withstand the various loads due to the water and the dam structure that we are going to build over there.
Okay. Can you tell me something about the effects of silting of a reservoir?
Sir, silting of a reservoir, it may affect the very root reason why we are building a reservoir. In the first case, silting of a reservoir can reduce the storage capacity of a reservoir. It can lead to the problems that the storage capacity of the reservoir will get decreased. Due to this, also there might be some problems of there might also instability in the dam. Also the water which we require more silt extractors and excluders in the dam, in the structure, so this may lead to high cost as well.
Okay, so how it can be solved, how this problem can be solved?
Sir, the problem of silting, we can solve that. There is, I think, we can. The main thing that we can do is that we have to create a silt extractor upstream of the dam, so that we can exclude the silt and take it for another channel, so that it does not affect the main working area of the dam.
Okay. Have you heard about check dams?
Yes, sir. Sir, check dams are built. They are built at a lower level, not as compared to the conventional dam. Check dams are built at a lower level. They are used to check the flow of water. Also, they are not. They are different from the barrages and all. The check dams are used for the temporary storage of water, and they are built at a more local level.
Okay.
Yes.
Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Singh. Now, why is your interview, the formal interview is over? We'll place you in the waiting room for some time and then for the internal discussion. We'll bring you back for the feedback.
Okay,
Yash ji, please place OWAIS Ahmed in the waiting room for some time.
Sure, sir.
Thanks a lot, sir.
I'm keeping him in the waiting room, sir.
Yash?
Yes, Ispal, sir.
Yeah, get the form filled also.
Sure, sure. Otherwise, you have to fill a feedback form. I'll be sending the form in the chat link.
Yes, sir.
So please fill the feedback form. And you also have to fill the consent form, okay?
Okay, sir. Sure, sir.
I'm keeping you in the waiting room.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Dr. Saab. All are head here.
This meeting is being recorded.
OWAIS, sir, is back.
OWAIS is back.
OWAIS, are you there?
Yes,
OWAIS
sir.
Ahmed? Yes.
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Okay, but I can't. Yeah. No. OWAIS, entire panel is unanimous. You are absolutely, today was very good. I mean, you are good. I mean, there is no doubt about that. You are a good candidate. Every question you tackled so well. I mean, and you are presentable. Your delivery also quite nice. But a little bit improvement, obviously, as you know. You have to, like, for example, my in situ conservation, as an civil engineer, you must know there is some techniques involved. So all that little bit, that of course it's not such a rocket science. You will do that. And see, the question on Kashmir disturbance and militancy and these expected, there will be 20-25% non-technical questions. So they'll be, and around 70-75% will be technical, hardcore, which you have really tackled well. But and one thing we'll just advise you, because once you know a thing, you just say ABCD, stop, because you are repeating that thing. Don't repeat.
Yes, sir.
So one thing you know that you know it. The people see, once you start saying the technical expert, he knows he's an expert. I mean, he absolutely an expert. He's outstanding expert. That's why he's there in the UPSC board. So he knows, you know. So but you don't have to repeat again. But you are not just you say again. You are so just A, B, C, D, point wise, stop. You know how to stop. This is the art of stopping. Art of starting and art of stopping. So you knew what to stop. Don't use more time than they have given you. So because they have got limited time. No? So they will have to go to the next candidate. So just respect their time, interview board's time also. So A, B, C, D. Don't even repeat anything what you have already said. And the technical things you have to again and again you are know, but your textbooks, etc. You go back again. NIT textbooks, the recent trends, also a little beyond those. Recent, there will be so many techniques. One, of course, we didn't ask you was use of artificial intelligence in civil engineering techniques. So that artificial intelligence is an expected question. We didn't ask, of course, but you do that. And anything on a general topics like Kashmir, militancy, developmental versus militancy, is it who, that is what I asked you about. Reasonably well. There could be a little more. You just think through that as a government officer. How will you manage the situation and all that? Not the law and order, but the development problems. So think through that. Discuss with somebody or say. And there may be not only this thing, that could be something about other beneficiary oriented education, health. How will you do that? You are in the big officer there in charge. How will you help the state administration in that? All everything, all that. And Karnataka, expected question. Karnataka, you have studied abscess, detailed application form. Karnataka, just they are the problems about the, as I said, water-starved areas, some areas. So there are also some challenges. In Kashmir, there could be some tourism. What are the things? How will you make them tourism? How will you improve? Because like that, then could be, since you are from Kashmir Valley, they will say what about Ladakh? Ladakh could be a question. Ladakh is a very another developmental challenges. Ladakh, as you know, you have to little study on Ladakh. Then because Kashmir, there are people always equate with the Northeast developmental challenges, the infrastructure challenges. So what about Northeast? How you put there in Northeast? How will you manage roads, buildings, infrastructure? Different types of challenges, landslide and mud flow and all that business, heavy rainfall. So all these. Then the tribal and these areas, tribal and those difficult areas in India also. So because Kashmir militancy, the tribal LWE extremism, left-wing extremism, raid corridor, all non-technical side, they may suddenly some non-technical person may raise. Because you can't say I'm a technical man, I will only answer. You can't, is a board. So 25, 30 you can expect.
Yes, sir.
So that way you have to not only technical, but core is your technological knowledge. You are an engineer, so you have to go deep. And engineering, any branch, not a civil. Suddenly they will say something about a small thing about electrical or mechanical or something. Nowadays, IT solutions for various things. IT, Internet of Things, a little bit of coding, etc. Just have some ideas so that you are not taken off guard or something. Suddenly, I'm also asked some heritage building construction or something. So be a little, they say, you may put some heritage building, your CPW charge in Delhi, heritage building. How will you restore it to its original shape without disturbing the heritage nature or something? These also CPWD does. And you are trying to get into CPW. All these things, if you do that, but you are absolutely a candidate who should get it. I mean, we'll be very, very surprised if you do not get it. So that's why you are there, almost there. You are knocking at the door of IES. So just keep your cool and just updation, keep on updating till your this thing, and don't lose your composure, even if a little one or two questions you can't. It doesn't matter. They see the overall personality, overall knowledge. So all our best wishes. You want to ask us anything? Please.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, shall I be asked about, should I expect that they will ask about our favorite subjects, or should I prepare something like some subjects, some favorite subjects should be prepared, not good, but better than other subjects, I can say?
No, it's actually not a written exam. Favorite subject versus non-favorite.
No, you are not going to do much details of anything.
Yes, sir.
Because nobody has got time to go into details of anything. You should have some idea, or 2-3 lines you can, this one, all subjects.
Yes, sir.
Because it is very difficult to say who will come out with which question. So better, don't go into details, too many details of any of the things. But yes, in general, ideas should be there. So you frame it.
Yes, sir.
And every question will not be answered also.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can say, sorry, sir, I cannot recollect at this stage after making some posts.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You will do very well.
Always basic formula, if you can understand, is that 60 to 65% from subject. Okay. 25% almost based on general knowledge and relevant to your subject field of knowledge. Okay.
Yes, sir.
It may be relevant, as I asked about the restoration of the heritage building, right? So it
Yes,
is
sir.
something to, it's not directly connected, but still there is a connect. And again, 10% question would be around your personality, your thinking power, your positivity. How would you manage a crisis? What could be your leadership paradigm? Thinking about it all. Okay. Are you a good team player? Or how would you take if anything is stressing you? How are you going to deal into it? Or, things would be. So 5 to 10% that you can expect. Okay. So, and I always believe that one of the areas should be your core strength, and general knowledge and a lot of knowledge about your all subjects concerned is a good idea. It is going to build you a strength.
Yes, sir. Thanks.
Yeah, all the best. All the best.
You should have little knowledge. You are not an expert in everything. So, but your core subject is your civil. So that you should be pakka. The rest of the things you are not a foreign policy expert or you are an economist or something. They don't expect that. But you should have some idea as a citizen of India and as a ever citizen or a highly educated person. So that way they will expect. They are not. You are not an expert in foreign policy or Indo-Pak relation or something. They will not expect. You are not expected to, but at least some ideas. You can just can't say, sorry, sir, I don't know anything. I mean, this will not. Some idea. May not be exactly to their like your view. It is not that you have to have their view. You cannot parrot their view. They may be having some other view. You may be having your own view.
Yes, sir.
So
yes, sir.
that you said clearly, concisely, point-wise. Just try to be whatever you say point-wise and don't waste anybody's time. Don't repeat. Because you have one or two questions you repeat. Because you know it so well and you are explaining. Don't explain. Just say, stop.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Whatever you want to say, go and art of stopping. That and point-wise saying and stop.
Yes,
all the best. Thank you very much. We will see you as an IES officer in future. Very soon.
Thanks, sir. Thanks a lot, sir.
You can log out now. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Log out now.